Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today talking about 2024 tier list. This is gonna be pretty interesting. I'm gonna compare it to Red Eagles, by the way, because Red Eagle, he had some funny takes here. As you can see here, we have Reppy, Red Eagle Patriot. He's gonna be the main comparison here. So remember, S tier, A tier, whatever. So let's start with the F tier, the shit. Also, my criteria, I don't know what Red Eagle was basing it off of. I don't remember. I saw the video, but I don't remember what he based it off exactly. But I'm going to be combining my personal preference and policy with also with electability and competence, okay? First of all, Bongino's F. He is in America First, and he is not very electable either. Now, America First means, in my opinion, paleoconservatism, okay? That means fiscal conservatism, in my opinion, strong on borders, and social conservatism as well. Charlie Baker is D tier because while he sucks on policy, he is electable, kind of. At least he can win in Massachusetts, which is impressive. Candace Owens is F tier because she's a grifter somewhat, and she's black, but she's not even like African American, I think, which means that she wouldn't really you know what I mean? Who knows about that? Susan Rice is shit. Now, Condoleezza Rice is bad, and she doesn't she's irrelevant in politics as well, so she's F tier. She is black, so that is a benefit. That's the affirmative action vote. Larry Hogan is D tier as well. Worse than Charlie Baker, because Larry Hogan is ugly and fat, whereas Baker has neither of those problems, in my opinion. So, now, who is better on policy, Larry Hogan or Charlie Baker? I don't really know. William Hurd, he's garbage. He's F tier as well. He personally is very against the president, so he's not going to get the president's endorsement, so he's just going to lose off of that basis, and he is cringe. He's pro-DACA, all that, no good. Might as well just be David Valadeo 2.0. He's a mulatto. So that's all the black people gotten rid of. Besides Tim Scott. Tim Scott is another F tier, maybe D tier actually, because he is better than Charlie Baker and Larry Hogan on policy, but he is very cucked. He's very he's pro-con, but he has a soft spot for black people, and I think that's a liability insofar as blacks make up 13% of the population, and that means that he's going to have a soft spot for a minority of the country, not the majority, so that's not going to be very representative of the country. Although having a black guy would be very optical for the movement, it would not be the perfect thing. It's not worth it. Mitt Romney is F tier. Mitt Romney got his ass kicked by Obama in 2012. That's not a good look. There's a personal hatred between him and Donald Trump, so that he's not going to get the Trump endorsement, which means the party's going to be fractured. He'll lose, guaranteed. And who even knows if he's going to get the suburbs like he did in 2012 anyway, so not a good recipe. He's also going to be 77 years old, so not good, too old. Let's move on to, let's say, who would be another one? Scott Walker is almost definitely not going to run. First of all, he would have to run for Wisconsin governor in 2022 and beat Evers, which is possible, but who knows? I'm going to put him at D tier. He is balding, by the way, so that's not a good sign. And, he lost his last election, so he's going to have no momentum. No real reason for him to run, honestly. He'd get his ass kicked in the primary. Now, in the general election, I do see a scenario where Scott Walker may or may not do worse than maybe a Ted Cruz or something. Now, what he does have going for him is that he is relatively good for Wisconsin, which does mean that Scott Walker would probably win Wisconsin, right? And that is a solace, I guess you can take. Now, let me fill in this map so you get more of an idea of what I'm talking about, and then maybe you'd understand where I'm getting at in terms of electability. Now, let's fill in these states for the Republicans under Scott Walker. I think you'd get all these probably more or less like this. Lose Michigan, lose Pennsylvania, wins Alaska, Wisconsin, this. So as of right now, he could barely squeak out of a victory, but maybe he'd lose a state like North Carolina. Maybe he would win Pennsylvania, so who knows? So even if he is electable, he doesn't have a big path, so that's why he's D. I'm gonna rate the next person. I'm gonna do Rand Paul. Rand Paul is C tier. Rand Paul has certain outreach. He could theoretically get better numbers with a lot of people and like minorities and stuff, assuming that his war on drugs stuff, his anti-war stuff works. Now, the problem with Rand Paul is that he does piss off the establishment sufficiently to probably lose. The good thing is that the libertarians would come home, but that's not a big deal anyway. So that's why I agree with Rand Paul on most things, but I think he's not charismatic at all. And he's not from a swing state, and he has a lot of other stuff going against him. So C tier. Paul Ryan is even worse than Scott Walker. While Paul Ryan is mediocre on policy, he's not strong enough on immigration. He's not populist at all, which would not appeal to the new Republican Party under Trump anyway. And he would probably not get the Trump endorsement, even though he's not bad on personal standing against Trump versus Romney, relatively speaking. And he is not as much of a rhino, but still sucks. Ben Sasse is going to be F tier as well. Ben Sasse is from Nebraska. There's no appeal there. The only thing he's got going for him is the second congressional district. And I think that Ben Sasse is extremely anti-Trump, and there's no way he's going to be able to walk that back. So he's screwed. Now, if we move on to another person such as, let's say, Lindsey Graham, I think he's also D tier. Lindsey is a closeted homosexual from all accounts, from what I've heard from people that know him and stuff. He is probably gay. Probably with Tim Scott as well, so that's not good. That's a bad image. So let's say there's a scandal that comes out that he is closeted gay that would completely erode his confidence among evangelicals. He'd definitely lose. He'd probably get the Trump endorsement, believe it or not, because Lindsey is a snake and he'd be able to snake his way into Trump's ear enough. So D tier. I don't agree with him on policy. He's way too weak on immigration. He's extremely soft. And he believes in police reform, which is stupid. Because when you do police reform, it'll help the left. Trust me. Rick Scott, he is from a swing state, so that is good. He is a competent individual. He is decent on the issues, not great. He is unattractive, though, so that's not going to help him with charisma, and he's not charismatic already. D tier. Probably maybe a little better than Scott Walker. And I'm, in retrospect, going to move Charlie Baker like this. Yeah, something like that. Don't pay attention to the horizontal ratings. I don't really care. I'm doing mostly S, A, B, C, D, F. Not like, oh, well, Graham's better than Scott, whatever. Not a big deal. Anyway, Ivanka Trump is probably a C tier candidate, and I'll tell you why. In terms of Ivanka, she does have some stuff going for her. She's attractive. Don't comment. Don't counter signal. I think she's attractive. Most people think she's attractive. That's a good thing. Now, when you talk about Ivanka in terms of being a liberal, that sort of does help get over centrists. So, I mean, that does have the upside now. And you would say, well, the populace, white working class would not vote for her. Well, if Trump's over there stumping for her and helping Ivanka, that would negate that. So she would still get the MAGA vote, in my opinion. Now, so I mean, the coalition would still be there, but who knows, honestly. And she has cucked on the issues, which is why she's not A tier or B tier. She's attractive, which is why she's not on D tier. And she's a Rand Paul level candidate, I guess. Might change my mind later. Mike Lindell is D tier because Mike Lindell's from Minnesota. He would not flip Minnesota, I think. Mike Lindell, after what I've seen from this month, has been very, believing in the Linwood, Sidney Powell stuff, the QAnon stuff. So he's not that intelligent politically, so that's his major underpinning, and he is really easily ridiculed. He's a very nice guy, though, so I like him, but, he's a little cuckoo. Marco Rubio is a C tier because Rubio has high name recognition, which is good. He's the right age for the candidacy in 24, but at the same time, Rubio is soft on immigration. He'll change his rhetoric, obviously, when he runs again, but Rubio will still have the stand of 2013 on him, and he does kind of support amnesty in a way. He's not very strong against DACA either. He would not really get the Trump vote. He'd struggle to get the Trump endorsement in the first place as well. He does have other strengths. He would do good in Florida. He definitely win Florida, but that's about it. So I would see Marco probably getting a map similar to maybe something like this. Not good enough, okay? Now, let's move on to, let's say, Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley is a D, I don't know, C or D. I think she's maybe slightly better off than Rubio because she is a woman. She is a minority, which helps, sort of. Now, she is an Indian, so that's a pretty irrelevant population, but, you could be like, oh, woman of color, whatever. So that's optics. And then in terms of the Trump vote, could she get the Trump endorsement? Maybe. And that's, if she doesn't, she loses, but let's assume she does. I think that the map with her would be probably like, it'd be pretty much this, actually. So, I mean, that's that. Nikki Haley is mediocre at best in the issues. She's a huge neocon, and the only thing she's got going on is that she's an establishment favorite, so she'd get that part, and she has the infrastructure to run because she's been planning on running for this entire time. Dan Crenshaw is C tier as well. And let me be objective. I hate Dan Crenshaw, but at the same time, he has good optics, and he is good for his district, so that means... And by that, I mean he does a lot better in the suburban Houston area than Donald Trump did this election, which means that he is better off in the suburbs, which would probably lead Crenshaw to getting maybe like a map like this. So is he electable? Yeah, kind of. So, I mean, that's why I have him at C tier. Now, Eric Trump, I don't know a lot about Eric. I'm going to assume he's going to do worse than Ivanka because he's not a woman. I mean, I don't know, maybe. Eric on the issues, I would assume is better than Ivanka because he's a guy and he is tall, so that's a good optic. I don't see what the advantage is with Eric. So C tier it is. Don Jr. is also in a similar boat. Now, Don Jr. has rubbed off people the wrong way because Don Jr. only has appeal to the Trump people, and even some of the Trump people think he's cringe and not as good as his father. So if he has a smaller coalition than his dad, he's basically guaranteed to lose at that point. Which means that Don Jr. could probably end up with like a map like this. Actually, like something like this. It could be a shit show for Don Jr. So Eric is probably better than Don by that logic. Because Eric is an unknown quantity, which is better than being shitty. Now, in terms of, let's say, Greg Abbott is a B-tier candidate. He would win Texas, which in 4 years might be competitive, so having that under your belt could be worth it. Also, I just realized that I'm using I was using the wrong map the entire time, which is my bad. Not that big of a difference, though, so don't worry about it too much. What I do think is interesting, though, about this all is that, hold on, let me fill this all in, and then I'll be able to concentrate again. In terms of Greg Abbott, I think he'd win these states so far against, let's say, Kamala Harris. He could probably get a lot of good states out of this, like this. Illinois blue, this. Then you can argue about the rest here. Abbott would probably lose Michigan, maybe win Wisconsin, lose Pennsylvania, something like that. He is electable, I think. He would do good with Hispanics. He is a cripple, though, and I think that's a bad look. Last cripple president was FDR, and he hid that fact, so we'll see. On issues, I think he's an 8 out of 10. He has a lot of Trumpian... I mean, he just has the standard issue, He's done a good job as governor of Texas, in my opinion, though he's not a paleocon by any means. He is electable, but we'll see how much the wheelchair affects him. That's why he's a B. Dan Patrick is based. I think he's done some good things, being very vocally against the left. That's good, so we'll put him B. But in terms of 2024, if Abbott runs again for governor and he runs, then Dan Patrick as lieutenant has no position there, so we'll put him at B. Or actually C tier because he's not popular enough yet. Tom Cotton. I used to really like Tom Cotton, but he really showed his neocon colors and his willingness to throw Trump under the bus since January 6th, and he didn't object to the votes, which is fucking gay. So by that logic, you are a C tier candidate because now what Tom Cotton does have going for him is that he's tall and he isn't a veteran, which is good optics. But again, and he's very intelligent and articulate, but he is a big neocon. And would he get the Trump endorsement? Who knows? And he's not a personal fan of Trump, so that's not a good thing either. You could see Cotton getting maybe something like this, perhaps. Maybe he gets Pennsylvania. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. It's a bizarre map. He's a neocon. No good. Let's put Pompeo in C tier as well. Pompeo is not... He doesn't have anything going for him, really. I mean, he's from Kansas, so that's not good. Former CIA director, former Secretary of State. That means he's establishment. I mean, he's kind of MAGA, but at the same time, honestly, part of the gimmick of being part of the Trump administration is being pro-Trump. So obviously, I won't give him too much credit for it. And you cannot be that based if you're the director of the CIA and don't expose it for what it is. So that's why you're there. So you're not from a good state. You're not the most pro-Trump person, and he's not good looking. He's not charismatic. So we're gonna put him at C. Matt Gaetz, I think, would be a C tier as well, maybe. Matt Gaetz would win Florida, which is good, but Matt Gaetz also has a problem of only appealing to Trump people. And if you lose even a little bit of that coalition, you lose the election. So Matt Gaetz could easily just lose these states. It could happen. So Matt is down to C tier. He's very pro-Trump again, but still he only has that outreach, and that's it. Ted Cruz would be B tier. Ted Cruz is his own heavyweight, I guess. He kind of stands alone from Trump. He's close enough to Trump where he can get the endorsement, but at the same time, if you have half of memory, you remember 2015 and 16 where they hated each other. So that means that Ted Cruz is kind of a snake in that regard. He's unattractive. He's from Texas, which may or may not be competitive. Who knows? He's not even a good fit for Texas, by the way. But since he is a big guy, he is very intelligent. He is good on the issues. He's a B tier. Probably better than Abbott. I think Cruz, his most plausible way of winning would probably be like this. Something like that, maybe. Let's move on to Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem would probably be a B tier candidate. And I say this because she is very good on the lockdown. People give her shit about the deaths, but she did a really good job. So while, think about it this way. In 4 years, when people say South Dakota is the second highest, growing state, that's only because she never locked it down. Whereas a lot of these states locked down, so their economies on paper look shitty, which means that she'll be able to use that to her advantage, as well as people are going to forget that a lot of people died, right? And she is from a bad state insofar as South Dakota is irrelevant, but at the same time, if you do include the fact that she is a woman, that'll help. She is relatively attractive as well, and she would definitely get the Trump endorsement. That's a B. We move on to Steve Bannon. Red Eagle, for whatever stupid reason, had Bannon at B. That's bullshit. I think Bannon would be a D tier candidate. Now, while he would hold a lot of the Trump people, I think that he would ward off almost everybody from the establishment. He is ugly and he's fat and kind of a grifter as well. So I see Bannon probably winning maybe these states like this, kind of like that. You could probably get something like this. Worst case, this would happen. I mean, Bannon fucking sucks, dude. You have to get over the fact what he did was he got $1 million. He stole $1 million from a charity that was supposed to give to a private border wall. So he basically used MAGA fans, their money, and skimmed off the top when he said he wouldn't. So he's a dick. So, no, fuck, Steve Bannon's gay. Or at least nowadays he is. Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley is probably a... Is he A tier at this point? Josh Hawley is from Missouri, which is irrelevant. But at the same time, Josh Hawley's a very intelligent guy, very articulate. He's decent looking. Is he charismatic? I like his voice, I guess. He's very intelligent. I think... he's not a veteran, which is not good. Establishment politician, sure. He does have some of that populist rhetoric while not warding off the establishment as much, which means that he could probably win these states right here, like this. Maybe win these states. Maybe something like that. But who knows what's going on right now. So A tier, he'd definitely get the Trump endorsement. Pence is a C tier candidate. I say this because Pence, Red Eagle has Pence at, what letter does he have him at? D tier. I have him at C tier because if Trump forgives Pence and completely endorses Pence in 2024 and he doesn't run, then he'll be ahead of all these people. But will he hold the Trump coalition? Probably not. I think he'd hold what Trump had. Probably win Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, but then probably lose these states as well, unless the Democrat candidate was really crappy. Could get it really close, but maybe probably wouldn't win. So Also, if there's the worst case scenario for Pence where Trump doesn't endorse him at all and then runs, he'll get completely cream stomped. So for that reason, I'm actually going to demote him to D tier. If you average both realities out with or without the Trump endorsement, that'll make or break him. So that's why I'm going to put him at D tier. I don't think he'll run anyway. So then we have Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson is probably a B or A tier. I say that because Tucker is from, I think, Oregon or something, Washington, or New York. He lives in New York now, so all irrelevant states, not a swing state in sight. For Tucker Carlson, a lot of retards say that Tucker will flip Oregon. Not true. It's not gonna happen. Tucker will probably do maybe marginally better in the suburbs because he is not as crazy sounding as Trump, not as bombastic, but he will also lack some of the charisma, and I think he'll be more establishment, as well as I think some of his like left-wing populist ideas will ward off some of the establishment in certain cases where Trump didn't. So, I mean, because of that, also the cult of personality over Tucker is minuscule compared to Donald Trump. And if Trump does run, then he'll kick Tucker's ass. And the fact that Tucker isn't polling anywhere substantial in the 2024 primary poll so far goes to show that he doesn't have an established following outside of what he is as a broadcaster, and he already said he's not going to run. So let's put him at B tier next to Ted Cruz. Ron DeSantis would be A tier. And I say A tier, he'd be S tier, but that's assuming Trump doesn't run. The thing about Ron is that wait, actually, let's do the map with Tucker. I think Tucker, best case, could probably win these states. Best case could probably win these states like this. Definitely not making a dent in Oregon, by the way. Shut the fuck up, Red Eagle, or whoever says that. Pisses me off when you say it. Now, in terms of Ron will do good in Florida, guaranteed. And by proxy, he'll probably do good in a Georgia set. Now, he's going to do well in the Sun Belt, and I think that the populism is kind of like met with him. So he'll do better in the suburbs than Trump, guaranteed, basically. Which means he'll be competitive. And if he gets the Trump endorsement, then he can definitely make a play for all these states, probably lose Michigan still. And, I mean, he could definitely win. So he's good. He's good on the issues. Hawley is good on the issues. Tucker's mostly good on the issues. I agree with Ron a lot. Ron believes basically what Trump believes, but is a little more... He suppresses his power level a little bit to be more optical, so that's good. Ron is younger than Trump, and I think he's more intelligent insofar as he's more articulate. Trump is obviously a genius, very stable genius. He just doesn't show it a lot, through verbosity now. So Ron, if Trump does not run, would be S tier. He's the best candidate out of all these. But because I think Trump will run, let's just say he will, he's S tier. Donald Trump is S tier. Donald Trump has the entire Republican Party by the balls. He is pulling it like at 70%, 80%. He is killing everyone right now. And that's without him saying he will run. Rest assured that if Donald Trump does run for president, like 80% of these people on the screen right now will not run because they know that they will be destroyed. You cannot stump the Trump. You will kill them. Just obliteration. Donald Trump will hold the entirety of the coalition, basically. And assuming that Kamala or Biden or whoever the 24 nominee is for the Democrats is going to do bad, he could definitely win a lot of states. Now, the suburbs would get worse probably, which means that he would maybe he'd lose Arizona, maybe he'd lose Nevada, maybe he'd lose Georgia. But he could still probably win with Michigan or something like that. So he's definitely in play. Trump is going to make a comeback, I think. Hopefully he does. So this is my map, my chart. I'll probably make an updated version soon enough. But personally, in my opinion, this is where the cards are. This is where the chips are. I think that, again, these aren't who I like in the series, but it's more so who is the most electable / who I like the most. So we'll see how this goes. By 2023, we're going to have people officially running. And like in 2 years, I'll be able to tell you more about these candidates. I'll probably update this in a couple months maybe because I do not know a lot about Eric Trump. I do not know a lot about, let's say, I do not know a lot about Larry Hogan or Charlie Baker or Kristi Noem. So we'll see how this shapes up. We'll see if Trump is saying that he's going to run or if he drops out early or what happens, because this map changes a lot. But so far, I am Trump 2024 until something changes. If not Trump, then DeSantis probably. If not DeSantis, then Hawley. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching my video. Where do you think you disagree? Comment down below. What do you think about Red Eagle's video? Let's see how they compare. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and goodbye.